Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. And today, I am joined by American rapper, songwriter, record executive, and producer, Dreadrock. Dreadrock is from the west side of Chicago. He got started 10 years ago in 2011 by recording his music on his iPhone to express his emotions about overcoming the trauma in the streets. So we're going to be talking to him about his story, his music, any current and upcoming projects that he has. Dreadrock, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Curveball, for having me.
Why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
My stage name is Dreadrock. Real name is James Samuel Jr. And I was born 1995, Chicago West Side. Grew up with a single mom that passed away when I was 11. My dad was locked up since I was 3 till I was like 13 and he got out. I grew up and like my sister raised me practically and everything. And then my brother, he guided me mostly to look up to. I had an older brother named Johnny. So I had like my sister raised me after my mama passed away when I was 11. So then I just been in and out of, been in Chicago, making it do.
Did you grow up rapping or?
Yeah, I grew up rapping. I was inspired by my brother-in-law. He was in the house with me. He used to do rap battles locally. He used to have CDs with him rapping against other people locally. He used to have all the jewelry on and everything. So when I was a little boy, like 8 or 9, that's when he was doing the freestyle rap and everything. So I grew up into listening to the music, and then he always played the music. He had the latest like Wayne, Gucci, always beating it out, big speakers. So music was all around me growing up. So like 8, 9, that's when I knew I wanted to get into it.
So how did you come up with the name Dreadrock?
Dreadrock, it came from, I used to be J-Rock. That's what my childhood, J-Rock. Then I became D-Rock. The rock in my name was a special meaning because my daddy said I ain't come home in 5 weeks from the hospital because I was diagnosed with cocaine. So I had to stay in the hospital like 5 weeks. So they called me Rocky. So I was J-Rock. And D-Rock came from when I put Dreadrock in front of it. One of my cousins, she did my hair and it dyed it all yellow and everything was like orange, yellowish. It was like I was on fire. And she was like, your name Dreadrock, Then I just ran with it. And it was that I think I was like, 13, 14 when I first got it tattooed on me. So after that point, my cousin, she had the color and everything, and I was just Dreadrock. And people know me like locally D-Rock for short, really in the street. But rap name is Dreadrock. I got it from my cousin.
So talk to us about what it's like growing up in Chicago and how it inspired your music and how you got just recording your stuff off the iPhone. Tell us about that.
Yeah, when I started, I was recording off the iPhone. My cousin, it was called Wolfpack. We just had this group. We started off an iPhone. You had to write your raps, line up. If you don't rap it on the first track, you go to the back of the line. So I started in like a group on the iPhone, and I used to record myself. My first song I recorded was MOA On Again. So that was still, I was off the phone just recording, and my first program was GarageBand. That was probably like 12 or something. That's when I first got a GarageBand. So 2012 is when I put that together. I started. Then I went about more. When it comes to me growing up in Chicago, with that and everything, I was mostly from my environment. It was all in the family. Like my family and everything was in the streets heavily. Like we had the source, everything was in the source. It was our source. So I never really had to jump and lead. I always led everything I did. So with the music, I started off, slowly on the phone. And after that, I got GarageBand and I was recording myself then.
Tell us about your style of music. How would you describe your style of music?
It's like a motivate because the motivation comes from like my songs. Like I remember in this experience, it's more of my experience because I put it to like something I went through. And then like my biggest songs I remember is about my mama and us growing up when I used to watch her and everywhere and be with her all the time before she passed away. Because I used to always be with her and I remember that's like my biggest song. So it's like a motivation and experience. That's where most of my music comes from. Motivation and experience. So I would put it to a style like trap drill if you have to put it in a category, but it's mostly come from experiencing things I went through. Motivating, like the song You Can Be Wherever is motivating the kids, the youth, that you can be wherever.
Tell us about your influences. What music influenced you? What rappers or singers or artists influence you to do what you do?
I like to Lil Wayne a lot. Lil Wayne definitely a lot. I definitely like the Wayne because it's a consistent work ever. Goo Wop, most definitely for his style of being who he is, just to stand out and stand, down. So Gucci, I had a big influence. Future, that era. Then I always liked the Pac, he was a Gemini, Biggie. We born the same day. So I always tapped into them legends, them right there. So I got a little piece of everything from the old and the new.
Have you worked with any of the big artists in Chicago or any other upcoming popular artists in Chicago? If so, tell us about that.
If I had to say Chicago wise, there's only a Chicago rapper that I got into a feature. He from Atlanta. He moved to Atlanta. His name AOKD. We locked in the feature. That's most of the only Chicago feature I had, if I'm not mistaken. The Chicago artists don't really collab, but big major feature that I got coming soon is with Peso from Houston, Texas. He locked in with Sauce Walker, so I got a single coming out with him and the single with AOKD dropping two on my next project. So I got a lot of behind the scene work.
Yeah, tell us about your current and upcoming projects. Let us know about that so people can check them out.
My my new single that I'm promoting right now is from where I started. The video dropping October 8th, shot by Ricky Art, like a big director in Chicago, Ricky Art. We dropping that October 8th. That's from where I started. That's the single I'm promoting right now. October 15th is my next single release this year. That's gonna drop everywhere on all platforms. You can make sure you follow me on dreadrock. Google me. That's where you can find it simply. You can just Google dreadrock. All the links will come up. Then for my label, because I'm also a CEO, I have an artist under me. We dropping this Friday. We got WAP dropping on the 1st. WAP and Mufasa, they two artists signed to my label. So I've been dropping like Mufasa. He just dropped Classic last Friday. So coming up these next months, I'm trying to hit every Friday going out the year we dropping. So every Friday, something from Swervnation is dropping an audio, a single, a video. Mostly we're gonna try to get a video with the single. But if it can't, we're gonna at least put a song out from Swervnation each Friday. Going out the year. That's what I'm trying to stick with. Already got to November done, so we already looking good. We're gonna drop every Friday.
Well, speaking of your record label, tell us about your record label and about your artists.
Okay, I got 4 artists. I got Mufasa, WAP, Lil Rap, and Don. They all different in their own way. We got Mufasa dropped his mixtape Modified already. WAP just new and approved. He dropping his first single October 1st. That's WAP. Lil Rap already got his I'm Hot out right now. You can go look at it on Swervnation channel. And Don still, he's working on his new project. He ain't coming to the surface yet, but we got Don in the bag. So I got like 4 artists. I got managers. I manage a couple other artists like Cavill, like he trying to become a new artist under the management. So I offer management to different artists. So that's the whole company.
Sound like you're doing it big out there. Well, what's your music and your record label? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Congratulations. With your
Thank you.
music, with your music and your record label and all the things that you are doing, what do you see yourself at in 5 years with everything you got going on?
5 years from now, really expanding more corporation, having a flow to the dock like Swervnation, a big corporation, and able to open up community centers for youth just to give them resources that I didn't have when I started. Like they can start in the studio out off the phone. So I try to get like a community center about 5 years and just a big corporation with my whole management through all the staff. Just more bigger, more expanding, more networking. 5 years from now, I want Spur Nation International Tour, all that going on within 5 years.
Well, go ahead and give out that full contact information. How can people get in touch with you? If you're on social media, any websites, your label mates, how can we connect with all you guys?
The simplest way to follow me, you can follow me at dreadrock SGE _ on @G. You can Google dreadrock. That'll link up to my whole Google page. They just come up with all my music links. So they make it easy to just click on all of them and follow them. For my label, you go to swervnation.com. You can go down to all the artists and click each one of their social media, see the latest drops. So swervnation.com hold all our artist page and the artist description. So it'll make it easier. Like swervnation.com is where you can find everybody, including myself. That just make it all easier. And if you want to book this, hit the email. We're doing features, drops, shows. We're traveling to other cities, wherever y'all need information. We can lock in a date.
Go ahead and spell your label name. That way people get it.
SWERV Swerve Nation. NATION Nation. Swerve Nation. Like you swerving in a car, swerve.
Sweet. You got any final thoughts before we close it out?
I just want to thank everybody, anybody that's listening that need a time to breathe and know that you can and that you can do it. You can progress. Take your little steps. Take them little steps and run with it because your accomplishment is always yours, no matter if it's big or small. I just want to give the next person hope and faith in what they're doing. That's my last thoughts.
With Dreadrock, I sure appreciate you for joining me, and I want to let the listeners know to follow Swerve Nation. Check out Dreadrock's music. Follow, rate, review, share this episode to your friends, as many people as possible, so they can check him out. And Android listeners, go to the Google Play Store and download the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast app. Dreadrock, I appreciate you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, man.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.